How you guys doing? This video I'm gonna talk to you about how I managed to get 48 out of 50 in my theory test. This is my theory test paper, which is in the this Ziploc bag. You'll see I've got 48 out of 50, okay? And then there's the hazard perception there. And then there's obviously the breakdown of what I got in the hazard perception. Again, I'll show you. This is the DVSA. I'm going to hide my driver license number. Now, in order to pass the theory test, you need to get 44 out of 50 right now. This is my third theory test that I've done. The ones I've done previously, the two ones that I did previously, they both had expired basically. I did one in 2008, I think I did one in 2000, and they both had expired, the last 2 years. This time around, and obviously with the corona, things got delayed and I just couldn't do the theory test for the third time until everything opened up again. But I wanted to make sure that everything was opened up properly because we went back into a lockdown again, and you guys may know that a lot of people lost money because the theory test wasn't extended, and many people's theory test they expired, and some who had maybe 6 months and wanted to take the test, they eventually had to retake it. So I said to myself, I'm gonna wait until the green light is really on the green light for everyone who wants to get back to driving, tests, etc. Now, because I had done the theory test twice before, I had the experience, the revision. I did the revision. But this time around, I said to myself that I wanted a really high score, something like 49 out of 50, 50 out of 50, which is not impossible to do. So this is what I did. And I believe my revisions helped a lot. Before the first lockdown, I believe I did a revision of the theory test using a book and a digital book. Then we went back to a lockdown, and then I let it go. And then we came back in again, and I did another revision, and then we went back into a lockdown again. Luckily, I didn't book anything. I got 48 out of 50 this time around using just a book, which was the 2017 edition of the theory test book. I didn't use the app. The app's $4.99 at the moment. You can buy the app. You see a lot of these youngsters, they're using the app. I didn't use the app at all. All I did was I borrowed the book from my local library, and then I also had the digital book as a member of my library. It's different from the app basically. The app is the latest thing. So I had the best of both. I had the DVSA book in my phone as well as in my hand in the book. And in my opinion, I prefer it in my hand. You could just whiz through the pages instead of swiping, through. I eventually booked my theory test last year. I believe I booked it around about November 2021, and I was given a date for 14th December 2021, the same year. So I didn't have time to revise, prepare, find out where the test center was, and be ready when I get there. I had passed, as I said in the video earlier, I had passed twice before, and I knew I could pass. But this time around, I wanted a really high score. And really high score out of 50 would be 50 out of 50, 49 out of 50. So this is what I did. I read the book, went through it question by question. I went question by question, each page. I would turn over each page. Many of the questions are very similar, You will have a tendency to skip them. I then would know the answer, and then eventually I would, if I had any hesitancy with the answer, I would have a little peek into the answers. But I would also do some guessing work. Okay. I would also revise the book whenever I visited my local library. I would revise the book, and what I did was this: there's loads of free online mock tests that you can do. There's various websites. One is a DT, and they've got various mock tests for theory, bike driver, etc. And what I did was I did the initial revision, and then what I did was I started doing these online mock free tests. Most of them I passed. I would get 43 out of 50, then maybe 46 out of 50. Then eventually, in one of my last mock tests, I got 49 out of 50. 49 out of 50, that's a very high score. And that's when I knew that eventually when I do the theory test, I will get a very high score. Sadly, I didn't get the 50 out of 50, which was my intended plan. And there is a reason why I didn't get it. I was using a 2017 book in 2021. Okay. Now, why you need to use the latest book is because there's always new questions added on to the theory test. Okay. This is why people get the latest book or now have the app, which has everything updated, And when I eventually did my theory test at the center on 14th December, what happened was I came across a question that I hadn't come across in the book at all. And I had some hesitancy, and I believe I got that wrong. I also got, I believe, one wrong in the video. There's a video that you're going to see where you will have to answer 3 questions, okay? And 3 questions. And I believe I got 2 right. And the total score was 48 out of 50 that I got. So I got 2 wrong. One most likely in the question that came to me that I didn't know, which was not in the old book. And one most likely I got in the video. The problem is if you don't use the latest book, you're not going to come across all the latest questions, okay? Even though the answers, the questions are very similar in each publication of the book, new questions are added on. This is why you need the latest book. But in general, the theory test book hasn't changed much and won't change much over the publication. So a 2017 book and a 2022 book, most likely, if there is, there'll be another 5 or 10 questions added. I don't really know, but I can tell you from my experience that I passed using a 2017 book. Okay, that's what I used, and I did all my mocks for free online. I started getting really, really high scores. I did free hazard perception clips online. I didn't pay for any of these hazard perception clips that you can buy. Okay, you're going to come across, I believe, 14 clips on the hazard perception when you do the theory test, and at most I got 6 or 7 videos that I came across for free. And when I eventually did the theory test, much of it was just me just understanding what it takes to pass the hazard perception. So I got a lot of free stuff online and I did practice them. There's a video that will come up during the multiple choice question that I only found out about a day before my theory test. Someone told me that there's a video there. She had failed, but she told me that there was a video there. And I'm like, okay. So I went around online and I found this free video that you can practice on, where you're going to be shown a video and you're going to be given free questions to answer on. So I thought, let's practice that, And the problem is you're not going to come across that many free clips. Many of the clips that are there, the CGI clips, you're going to have to pay a subscription to do it. Okay, it's not going to be free. The multiple choice questions is the main thing. What I did every night was this: I would allocate some time every night in my bed, and I'll put the bed lamp on, and I will go through the theory test book that I had borrowed from the library, and I'll probably go through a section each day. So I went, again, one question at a time, and if I didn't know the answer, I would have a little peek. Eventually, what I did was, I got to a point where I had memorized so many questions that there was no hesitancy, and I knew that I won't experience any hesitancy when I eventually did the theory test, for real. So that's the kind of level I wanted to get to, where I don't get any hesitancy of all the 50 random questions that are going to be thrown at me on the test day. Okay? So, I took every opportunity to read the book. Every night, as I was coming towards the test, every night I would spend about half an hour in bed, without any distractions. When I went to visit my local library, I would pick up the book which was there and I would have a browse through. I would do mock tests. I probably did about 10 or 15 mock tests by the time I had done a eventual theory test. And I suggest anyone to make use of these free mock tests. Okay, you can get it on the app. Practice them, practice all your clips and all that. It's great. Pay your $4.99. But I was able to do the same thing, without spending $4.99. Just using, free online hazard perception clips, free online mock tests and all that. And I got 40 out of 50. I've got the proof, 40 out of 50. But my intention this time around was to get a very high score. I would be able to prove that I could get a very high score.